Hi guys, welcome back to the PhD Prep Lab channel. So we are back with another video for the series of ICMR JRF revision of part B. So for this video, we are going to cover evolution and origin of life. So this is also a very important unit from part B of ICMR JRF examination. We have put another video before in the beginning of the series that was on genetics and genomics. That is also for a one-shot video for part B ICMR JRF revision. Make sure that you check that video out and you don't miss out on it. And previously, we have posted two videos on biosafety and bioethics. One is the one-shot video on the concepts of biosafety and bioethics, and the other is the MCQ practice on biosafety and bioethics. So make sure that you check out all the three videos. These biosafety, bioethics, genetics, genomics are also very, very important for your part B of ICMR JRF examination, which is common for all. So all the links of the three videos you will find in the description box so that you can easily access the videos and start your revision. So for this video, we are going to cover evolution and origin of life. So let's start with the video without any further ado. So basically, we are going to focus the core of this unit is natural selection, speciation, and behavior. So we are going to majorly be focusing on this. The other aspects are definitely will be also covered in this video. But just to let you know that this, what is the core of this unit, we have highlighted these three topics: natural selection, speciation, and behavior. So make sure that you are thorough with all the basics. This is a rapid revision. This will help you stronger your base and revise better and in a faster manner. But before that, make sure that you are very, very clear with the base. So let's start with the video. So evolution basically occurs with time when natural selection, genetic drift, or gene flow, they alter the allele frequencies of a population over a given period of time. So there is a series of events that has occurred that gives you the history of life, how everything began. So it all started with inorganic matter. Inorganic matter could be your ammonia, water vapors, nitrogen, etc., whatever was present in the primitive conditions of the earth. Then these inorganic matter, they gave rise to organic molecules. Organic molecules are your amino acids, which are the building blocks of life. Then these simpler organic molecules, they formed complex polymers, which gave rise to RNA-based genetic system, which further formed protobions. And from protobions, you get the self-replicating molecule that is eubion over the period of time. And then later, then after that, natural selection of these molecules occurred. The favored molecule, um, the favored molecules by natural selection, they developed into prokaryotic cell, and then oxygen-rich environment and ozone layer formation was developed in the Earth condition, and then that later gave rise to eukaryotic cell. Now, this event series is very, very important for your any kind of JRF examination, whether it's ICMR, DBT, or CSIR NET even, because they definitely ask you they give you certain events. Suppose they'll give you inorganic molecule, organic molecule, protobions, natural selection, prokaryotic cell, like that. And they'll ask you to arrange it in the sequence of like ascending order, what came first and what came last. You have to arrange them. So it's very important that you are very, very clear in what is the order in the formation of the history of the life. So make sure that you definitely learn all the events in sequence manner. So moving ahead, we have the very, very important Miller-Urey experiment. So this was basically done to test the hypothesis of the chemical evolution, the theory of origin of life from inorganic molecules that gave rise to organic molecules under the primitive earth conditions. So in this, they made a setup. The setup was is there in the picture you can see. So this setup composed of a closed apparatus, which was set up to simulate the like mimic the early Earth conditions. And there was water vapor, which was heated to produce the water. There was water which was heated to produce the water vapor, which represented the primitive ocean. And this water vapor was mixed with methane, ammonia, hydrogen to mimic the reducing atmosphere. So these are your inorganic molecules. And then there was electric sparks, which were passed through the gas mixtures to stimulate lightning as an energy source. And when the gases they were cooled, they were condensed, and the products were collected for analysis. The result did show that organic molecules, including amino acids, were indeed formed, proving that the basic building blocks of life could arise abiotically. Abiotically means from the non-living matters. So this theory was proved, and this is a very important part of your evolution, which is the Miller-Urey experiment. Now we have the geological time scale. So geological time scale is a system basically which divided the entire history of the Earth into different time intervals. So this was based on major geological and biological events such as formation of rocks, appearance or extinctions of certain organisms, species, certain climate changes. So this is what a geological time scale is consist of. This is the time scale that divided the Earth from zero, like no life, to what we have today. So it basically helps the scientists to understand the sequence and timing of events. So you can see here is written Hayden, Archean, Proterozoic, Proterozoic. So all these are your eons. Okay, and eon is the largest unit. So the geological time scale, it's divided into eons, eras, periods, epochs, and ages. So this is how it is arranged from the oldest to the most recent. You can see in the picture. So your Hayden is the earliest eon in the geological time scale. So here, when every like origin of life, everything was this is the starting point from which we study the origin of life. So there no life actually existed. The earth was extremely hot and the volcanic activities were very high. So there was no life. And then later it developed to Archean, Proterozoic, and then we have Phanerozoic. Phanerozoic is the most recent eon, which is the present day. And under these eons, we have eras. So under eons comes eras. So you can see Paleozoic, Mesozoic, Cenozoic. So these are the three eras in which Phanerozoic eon is divided into. Paleozoic is the age of ancient life. Mesozoic is the age of reptiles or dinosaur, and Cenozoic is the age of mammals. So you have to remember what is which era is called the age of reptiles, which era is the age of mammals, and which era is the age of ancient life. So this is quite important, very frequently asked in all the JRF examinations. Now you can see there is Cambrian. So this Cambrian is in your geological time scale, it refers to a period. So these Cambrian, Devonian, Triassic, Jurassic, so these are all periods. So Cambrian is the first period and it was 541 million years ago. You can see it's very early. It's the first of many. And then you can see later progressing like to when you see Triassic, they're the first mammals they appeared. Then you see Jurassic, where first birds and lizards appeared. Like that, you have to highlight, you have to remember most of the important eras, eons, and periods of the geological time scale. If not all, some of it is very important. Now we have the theories of evolution. Now there are certain theories given, many of it were rejected. Lamarckism, Darwinism, and Neo-Darwinism are the most popular ones. So, Lamarckism, he talked about the use and disuse of organs. So, he stated that the organs who are most used, they become stronger, and the organs which are unused, they degenerate. And he talked about giraffe's necks as a very, very famous example. So he said that the giraffe neck is developed in such a manner. Why is it so long and continuous? Because when the giraffe, they were normal heighted, when their neck was not so long, they used to eat leaves by stretching their necks a lot. So by continuous stretching, the giraffe's neck evolved and developed to be so long that we see today. But this theory was disapproved because these acquired traits are not genetically inherited. So there was no genetic inheritance proved here. So that's why this theory was rejected. And then came Darwinism. He stated the theory of natural selection. So what natural selection is how one phenotype is favored over the other, and the one which is favored, it further develops, and that's how evolution is leaded. He talked about variation amongst the individuals and the struggle for existence. And he gave the very famous example of industrial mechanism. How he proved his theory of natural selection was that there was two kinds of moths. One was dark colored peppered moths and one was white colored. So when due to industrialization, a lot of pollution and soot deposition was there. So the bright white colored moths, they were easily seen by the predators. So that's how they were eaten. And the peppered moths, they were camouflaged because of the soot deposition and their dark color. So they were not seen by their predators, and that's how their numbers got increased, and the white moth, they got disappeared from the population. So that's what the theory of natural selection is, and that this was accepted. This was the foundation of modern evolutionary biology. And then came Neo-Darwinism. So this is the modern synthetic theory. This was developed by Fisher, Haldane, and Wright and Mayer. So the key concepts were that evolution occurs due to mutation, genetic recombination, natural selection, gene flow, and genetic drift. So this Neo-Darwinism is a combination of Darwinism and Mendelian genetics, and it is the most accepted theory today. So also remember what neo-Darwinism is called. It is called the modern theory, modern synthetic theory. So this was it about the theories of evolution. Now, moving ahead, we have natural selection. So natural selection means the survival of the fittest, given by Darwin, very, very famous theory that he gave. So it is the survival and reproduction, not only survival, but also the reproduction of individuals due to differences in phenotype. The example of the moth that I gave you due to industrial mechanism is the very famous example, and it is the key mechanism of evolution. The change is like heritable, and the it is accumulated on in the population over generations. So there are three types of natural selections. There is directional selection, there is stabilizing selection, and disruptive selection. These graphs are also very important. And directional selection basically means that the selection of one extreme trait is there in the population. So suppose the long neck giraffe only is favored. So like when one extreme phenotype is preferred, so that is directional selection. In stabilizing, always the average is favored, the average trait. So you have white, gray, and dark. So gray trait is favored, like it is the combination of white and dark. So this trait is favored in the mice coat color. So this is the stabilizing selection. So this selects the average or intermediate traits in the population. Now we have disruptive selection in which both of the extreme traits are favored, and the middle one is sort of eliminated and not favored. So this selects both the extremes. So these are the three types of natural selection. Now we have Darwin finches. Darwin finches are a group of small birds which were found in the Galapagos Island. So this is the key evidence for the theory of evolution by natural selection. This was the key theory, key example. So these finches they evolved from one common ancestor, and they over time they developed different beak shapes and sizes according to the type of food they were adapted to, whether they ate seeds, insects, or nectar. According to the food, their beak shape and size were altered. And these demonstrate adaptive radiation from one ancestor. Several finches they radiated and adapted different beak size and shape and developed into multiple species from two different environments. Now there is this chart of the steps of evolution by natural selection. So it states that random mutation they first um, like accumulate and the genetic makeups of the individual they like variation of a gene allele is developed. Allele is the alternative form of one gene. So these alleles they develop and then this genetic variation between the individuals they occur in the genotypes. Then variation in phenotypes is seen. Then moving on, you have the environmental pressure also from which natural selection occurs and interaction of different phenotypes with a specific environment is there. And some of the phenotypes are favored more and they are most likely to survive and leave more offspring. So this is also called Darwinian fitness. Fitness determines on how much more offspring you can produce and more of their alleles and are passed to the are accumulated and are passed to the next generation. So this changes the allelic frequencies in the next generation, which leads to evolution. Now there is genetic drift. So this is the mechanism in evolution in which random changes in allele frequency it occurs in a population, majorly in a small population. So some important properties of genetic drift that could be asked is it occurs in small population and these are the random changes in the allele frequency. They increase similarity. They favor the homozygous condition. These points are very, very important. A lot of questions can be framed through these several points. And these are involved in the evolutionary process, of course, and they are significant in small size population and they can fix a harmful allele because they favor homozygous condition and it acts to eliminate genetic variation, which is again why because they like favor homozygotic condition. Now, genetic drift could be of two types. It could occur via bottleneck effect or it could occur via founder's effect. So these are the two types of genetic drift. So these are the changes, how they occur is first about founder's effect. It occurs when a small group of individuals they break away from a larger population and form small new population. So Darwin finches is the best example of founder effect. So they carry limited genetic variation which may not represent the original population. Some traits may become common simply by chance. So this is what founder's effect is. Darwin finches again is the most common example. Now there is bottleneck effect. This occurs when a large population is suddenly reduced in size. So what occurs in large population and what occurs in small population? This is a very important key point to note. So bottleneck effect will occur in the when the large population is suddenly reduced in size. And this occurs mainly due to events like natural disaster or catastrophes or diseases or human activities. So this point is also very, very important for bottleneck effect. And the few surviving individuals, they form the future population, leading to reduced genetic diversity, even if the population size later increases, but the diversity it is very much reduced because uh, a lot of uh, a lot of members of the population, they have vanished. So, in short, founder effect is when new population is formed by few individuals, and bottleneck effect is when population is reduced drastically from a larger population due to catastrophe. Now we have speciation and its types. So there are four important types of speciation: allopatric, peripatric, parapatric, and sympatric. Allopatric is due to geographical barrier. Sympatric is due to reproductive barrier. Now we have peripatric and parapatric. Peripatric occurs when a small group of individuals they become isolated at the edge of a larger population. So you can see on the diagram also on the edge there forms a new circle that indicates the formation of a new species. So the small population they undergo rapid genetic changes due to genetic drift and adapting to the new environment. So one example is island species that evolved from the mainland species. And for Parapatric, we see that the populations are like the two species are adjacent to each other and they are not completely geographically isolated. The speciation here occurs due to gradual environmental differences or reduced gene flow. Like the grass species, they develop tolerance to heavy metals and soils along a pollution gradient. So this is one example for parapatric speciation. Now we have reproductive isolating mechanism. So this is so that the like this prevents the different species to reproduce together. Species only same species can reproduce among each other. So this isolating mechanism is present so that in different species they don't breed together. So there is prezygotic mechanism and postzygotic mechanism. Prezygotic is before the formation of a zygote to prevent their formation of a zygote. So basically, it could be geographical, it could be seasonal, behavioral, mechanical, physiological. Behavioral could be the mating patterns or the mating seasons could be different of different species. Mechanical barrier of the reproductive organs are made in such an manner that it is not compatible with the other species. So this is all where pre-zygotic isolating mechanism occurs. And in post-zygotic, it means the reproduction has occurred. The zygote also has formed, but it will not survive. So one of the mechanism is hybrid in viability, where the zygote forms, but it dies before the birth only. And hybrid sterility is also there. The zygote has formed, developed into an organism, but that hybrid organism is sterile. It cannot give rise to new population, new organisms, like your mule. The cross between donkey and the horse, it gives rise to mule, but that mule is sterile. It cannot form new babies or new further generations. So that becomes sterile. So that's hybrid sterility. Now we have altruism and Hamilton rule. It is very, very important for all the JRF examination. So altruism, it refers to a behavior in which an individual it reduces its own fitness to increase the fitness of another individual. For example, an animal, he might risk its own life to warn the other animals of the predator. So this is altruism behavior. That animal is risking its own life to save the others from the prey. An altruistic gene will be favored by natural selection when the Hamilton rule is satisfied. Now, what is Hamilton rule? It is the formula which you can see on the screen also, BR minus C greater than 0. So this, when this is satisfied, this explains the altruistic behavior that it can occur. So it basically is a B states for fitness benefit to recipient. C is the cost or the cost to the actor, and R is the coefficient of relatedness, the relatedness of the organism to the other one. So these all should be greater than zero, then only altruism will be favored. And the average proportion of genes shared by two individuals is called coefficient of relatedness. So, in simple terms, organisms are more likely to help close relatives because it helps pass shared genes to the next generation. Here you can see the R, that is relation of like coefficient in relatedness, right? So that's what it explains basically. So altruism is mostly favored when it is done to close relatives. So there the benefit is high. It is high because it helps to pass shared genes to the next generation. And from this only we have another term which is reciprocity, in which there is a reciprocal altruism, wherein like the organism is saving the other organism in the risk of its own life, but it expects that the other organism will also act in the similar manner when the time occurs. The one such example is cleaning another animal's fur. So when the time occurs, the organism it expects that the other organism will also favor him or her like that. Now there are certain types of behaviors. So courtship is one behavior where it is used to attract a mate for reproduction. Pheromones are the chemical signal which is released to trigger a specific response in the same species. So these are the chemical signals. And there is group selection, which favors the traits that benefit the group rather than the individual. Cooperative behaviors, in this individuals working together for a mutual benefit is seen, like hunting. Now we have agonistic behavior, which is the aggressive or submissive social interactions related to conflict or fighting. So it means like it is a typical behavior where um, conflict or competition between two individuals of the same species occurs. It includes threats, aggression, avoidance to help resolve their disputes over resources, mates, or territories without causing serious harm to each other. Then we have imprinting. Imprinting basically is when uh, a young animal forms a strong permanent attachment to a specific object, organism, or environment, usually soon after birth. So it is irreversible learning that occurs only during the critical early life period during the young age, and is very rapid. Now there are certain mating behaviors. There is monogamy, wherein one male and one female bond. So one sexual or reproductive partner only. And in this, parental care is given by both. The example could be pigeons. And then you have polygyny, where there is male which mates with multiple females, and the parent care is given by female. So it's also important. The parental care is given by which gender. It is very important. This point is also very important. In polyandry, the females they have multiple male partners, and the parental care is given by male. And in promiscuity, both the sexes they mate with multiple partners. So parental care could be given by both or one of it or none of it, none of the parents. Now we have another um, important definition of lek system. So lek system is a mating strategy in which animals, where the males they gather in a specific area called a lek to display and compete for attention of the visiting female. So this is to attract more female partners. Now, there are certain types of evolution which are very important. In your convergent evolution, we see that unrelated species they independently evolve similar traits due to adapting of similar environments. Examples are also very important. The wings of bats and birds, the streamlined body of sharks and dolphins. So they are unrelated, but they have similar functions. Like the wings of bats and birds, they both are used to fly. Now we have divergent evolution. This happens in the related species. So their related species, they evolve different traits from a common ancestor to adapt to different niches. The example of divergent evolutions are Darwin finches, which evolved different beak shapes from different diets, and they evolved from one single species only. So they evolved due to different in accordance to their food habits. Now there is coevolution, which is two or more species. They influence each other's evolution, often in predator-prey or mutualistic relationships. Example is flowers evolving specific shapes for pollinators and insects evolving parts to access that nectar. So that is coevolution. Flowers are also developing and insects are also developing their parts to access that nectar from that flower. Now we have parallel evolution, so this occurs in related species. So it is also important to note that what kind of evolution occurs in related species and what evolution occurs in unrelated species. So parallel evolution, they occur in related species, which share a recent common ancestor. They independently evolve similar traits while geographically separated. So they are not geographically in the same place, but they evolve independently the similar traits like placenta flying squirrels and marsupial sugar gliders both evolve gliding membranes independently. Now you have microevolution, which, as the name suggests, they are small scale genetic changes or the shift in allele frequencies within a single population over a short period of time. Like the mosquitoes, they develop resistance to pesticides. So this happens gradually over a short period of time. So this is microevolution. In macroevolution, there is large-scale evolutionary changes that occur over long periods, resulting in new species or groups, like the evolution of humans from primate ancestors or the reptiles, they evolve into birds. So this is macroevolution, the larger scale changes. Now we have some rules in evolution, which are also very, very important. Definitely one question you can find in every JRF examination from these rules. So one is the Cope's rule. This is the tendency of for the lineages to increase in body size over evolutionary time, like the horse evolution. Then you have Dodo's law, which is also called the law of irreversibility. In this, evolution is irreversible. A complex trait once lost cannot be regained in the same form. Now we have Occam's principle also, which is the law of parsimony. When faced with the competing hypothesis, the simplest explanation with the fewest assumption is usually correct one. So this is the law of parsimony when you favor the simplest explanation with the fewest assumption. When now we have Van Valens law, which is also the Red Queen's hypothesis. So in the Red Queen's hypothesis, it is the evolutionary concept which states that species must constantly evolve and adapt to survive because their environment, including other organisms, is also continuously changing. So this is the probability of extinction in constant the probability of extinction is constant regardless of species age. Species must constantly evolve just to maintain their fitness relative to evolving competition, which is run to stay in the same place. Now there is allele frequency, which shows how common an allele is in a population, and the formula is given here, which could be useful in solving some small kind of numericals. Now we have inbreeding. So this is mating between genetically related organisms, and as a result, it increases the similarities. And also other effects of inbreeding could be increase of homozygosity and decrease in heterozygosity. The increase in expression of deleterious or harmful gene is also a part or a result of inbreeding. It leads to decrease in the biological fitness, which is caused by inbreeding depression. And sometimes we can use it to do selective breeding also. Now, the coefficient of inbreeding is also mentioned here, the formula. and this could also be used in solving certain numericals related to this. And the coefficient of inbreeding of an individual is the probability that two alleles at any locus in an individual are identical by descent from the common ancestors of the two parents. So this was all from your Part B revision for your this unit. So I hope that you liked the video and you found it useful. So this is the rapid revision series. That's why we have completed it in a very quick manner so that there is quick revision of your basic notes from this unit. And make sure that you like our video if you found it useful, and leave comments down below if you need any help or you have any doubts or any suggestions. Those are always welcome, so leave that in the comment section. And join our Telegram channel to get instant updates. The link is provided. The scanners are also given. So we have two Telegram channels for Life Science JRF notes as well, one, and the other one for internship and job opportunities. So you can scan the QR code and join the Telegram group. And make sure that you check out the genetics and genomics one-shot video as well, and the bioethics and biosafety one-shot video as well. We'll be coming with more such videos for Part B rapid revision of JRF series. So make sure that you ace your ICMR JRF examination by revising from our Part B rapid revision series. And all the best for your examination. Thank you for watching.